Hey guys, haven't done an update video in a while on the golf course, so I figured I would make one today here. Just be a short little update on what is going on, what I did with irrigation, and just how growth regulators have been, what kind of the plans are for the future in terms of spraying. It is June 11th today, so I am due for another spray coming up right around the 15th. Hoping to do it next Thursday, possibly, maybe Friday, or Wednesday for that matter. So we will just kind of play it by ear how the week goes and, just figure it out as it comes here. But we're off to a little bit of a later start than normal. Usually we're at the course by now, but we just got up about 15 minutes too late. So that tends to happen. It is only June 11th today, and we've got a lot more of this left. So we are just taking the SRT to work today. It's only supposed to be about 67. We were supposed to get some rain yesterday on the 10th, and we had about 5 minutes of sprinkles. So I was a little bummed out by that. I was hoping to get a little bit more rain, and we never got it, basically. So by the looks of it, there's a chance of rain next Monday and Tuesday, so a week from tomorrow. But I'm not holding my breath on any of that. It's been a long spring without rain. We had a lot of rain early on, a lot of snow, and that melted. That held us through for about the first couple, 2-3 weeks of spring, and now we are hurting. We are in a drought. So I'm hoping that if we can get some rain, the course will green up, although I'm still impressed. Woo, did you see that bird? I saw that motherfucking bird. Jesus. But I'm still impressed with how, I wasn't even going that fast. I'm still impressed with how the golf course looks. So we just got some stuff on our plate next week: fertilization, fairway fert, greens, stuff like that. So we're gonna continue to drive here and get to work and go from there. So we're out here just mowing some greens. With the new greens mower, we finally got that back, so I'll have that in a little update. But while I was mowing, I noticed right there, we've got some dollar spot coming up. So I will definitely be spraying this Wednesday, and I'm going to apply growth regulator again, along with some chlorothalonil and maybe some Tevi. Other than that, though, the greens look pretty good. Of course, the iPhone makes everything look worse than what it actually is. But the greens look good. But I just wanted to point that out. I finally have some dollar spot coming up here that I need to basically take care of before it gets any worse. So I had some issues with this head, and the typical superintendent I am, I don't know why I never just turned this on manually throughout the year, because I was playing yesterday and I noticed I had a terrible localized dry spot, which is right there, the worst on the golf course actually, out of any place out here really, besides the rough on 2. Otherwise, this is definitely the worst localized dry spot. So I'm going to let this run for maybe 15-20 minutes here. And I'm hoping that the grass will come back. It's almost embarrassing how bad this little area looks here. And just not a good job. So I just turned this on manually. And I've had to do that on one other occasion here on this golf course up on 6, where I'll show you. But I'm just kind of surprised I didn't do it sooner, being June 10th today. But we turned it on manually, and that's totally okay. It is what it is. So I'm lucky I have this big tree here to shade everything. But we're going to continue to let that run here. Lesson learned, I guess. You know, I could dig that up here this week or the next and just put a new solenoid on it, as that's what it needs. But we'll see if I do it or not. It's only a problem June and July. Once August hits and we get some rain, we're okay. But that's kind of the worst localized dry spot here on the golf course that I have. I'll show you guys here what I did on an irrigation leak I had on 6th fairway. But this area here, I water for about 15 minutes a time, a couple times a week. You can see this head here just doesn't turn on. You can see I have some dry spots there, and I'm going to deal with that once I get that head off there. But you can see I had some issues with I had some GD issues with this head, and I just let it get too far. And it sucks because, I mean, everything is drying up here, but now you can see people are driving over it, and I may have to seed this in. I mean, it was so wet and so muddy. I mean, this is embarrassing here. I'm hoping when I mow fairways tomorrow, it'll even out a little bit, but this is really not great. So once I mow through this here and once it dries up, I may put some seed on it, see if I could seed it in a little bit better. But here's the fairways, and this is as good of any example to show. But you know, they need food really bad. I have to fertilize these probably Thursday of this week. You can see there's a little bit of crabgrass popping up here, and that's exactly why I need to fertilize these probably ASAP. I mean, really, maybe possibly tomorrow if I get a chance. I would rather do it on Thursday, though, just because of timing's sake. But, you know, the fairways, I mowed these on Wednesday. They really haven't grown. They really haven't grown, and that's not such a bad thing because I'm saving on fuel. But with them not growing, yeah, that is a good thing. But also with them not growing, it allows that crabgrass to grow in right there. So I thoroughly don't want to spray fairways. I sprayed them last year around the 4th of July. It was a pain in the ass. I hated doing it. So I'm hoping this year I don't have to spray fairways. I really don't want to do it. And, you know, hopefully be okay with just fertilizing. But again, if the crabgrass gets too bad, then I'm going to have to spray this with some 2DQ. That I'm going to get fixed up here and hopefully not have to worry about it. But we're just going to let that head run a little bit longer here. And then we're going to turn that head on there. So here's the pump house here, and I'll explain what we did on that pump, on the booster pump going out into the pond with that intake. But you can see here I had to have this rebuilt this year. That was $2,500. $2,500. Yep. So that was a big expense. And what I wanted them to do was to put a butterfly valve here where this union is. I wanted the butterfly valve there so I could isolate off basically this area of the pump, or that, where I wouldn't have this, but where I could isolate that off, and basically you'd put an isolation valve there and redo this so it's on the left side on the small pump side, so I could isolate problems off, you know, when there's any issues that arise, so I could still run this if there's any issues with pump 1 or pump 2. So that didn't happen. I'm a little bummed out by it, but it is what it is. So now we're just left with this. And if we take a walk outside here, you'll be able to see. Oh, we're actually going to go around. You'll be able to see here what is going on. And it's not great. I do have parts coming in, but so what the original issue was, if you watch the channel and know my problems was that these two unions, the gasket was shot, the union was also shot. So I had to rebuild this here with some 4-inch pipe that I had on hand, which wasn't a lot. So I glued the union on, and then the easiest way for me to do this here was to do this compression couple. And it works, but I had to ratchet strap it down to the actual base. So this is basically this post right here is tight, and that's what's holding this together, is just this post. And you can see it's moved a little bit, so I have about another couple weeks left here where I need this post to stay, and this post here too, which really isn't doing shit, and those posts there. I mean, you could see that post is holding this intact. So I've got 120 psi that's, you know, pushing back there, and you know, that post has to hold. So this is kind of what I've got. You know, I needed to replace this piece anyway because it's got a pretty big bow in it, and that is leaking right there. So I needed to replace it. So I got a 20-foot section of pipe coming. I'm gonna hope that that's long enough. If it's not, I've got a little bit more 5-foot parcels of or sections of the pipe as well on hand. But it'd be really nice to get this compression couple out. You know, the pressure pushing it back is just too much. So that's what we're dealing with. That's what my fix was. This isn't the first time I've had to use ratchet straps, and it probably won't be the last. But you can see how much this pipe is bowed out. And same with this one here. I mean, it's moving every single day. So I'm really hoping here that I can, you know, get this fixed fairly soon, because I don't want any further damage to go into the pump house and you know, move those pipes in there, which I doubt will happen. But this whole area needs to be rebuilt someday. I don't have the cash right now, which sucks, and I don't know if I ever will, but this is what I've got going right now, and you know, hopefully it holds. So that's basically it for the update here. You know, if you like the channel, like my cars, like my golf course, you're subscribed, because I try to post every other day and keep you guys all updated with what is going on.